Thank you for joining us. We are delighted to have you once again. Our today's topic is summarizing PivotTable and Excel table data. In this topic, you'll learn about summarizing pivot tables and Excel tables data in your Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. You can use a pivot tables or Excel tables to summarize, analyze, explore, and present summary data. Pivot charts complement pivot tables by adding visualizations to the summary data in a pivot table and allow you to easily see comparisons, patterns, and trends. On the other hand, pivot tables complement Excel tables by adding visualizations to the summary data in an Excel tables. Both pivot tables and pivot charts enable you to make informed decisions about critical data in your enterprise. You can also connect to external data sources such as SQL Server Tables, SQL Server Analysis Services Cubes, Azure Marketplace, Office Data Connection, .odc files, XML files, Access databases, and text files to create pivot tables, or use existing pivot tables to create new tables. By the end of this topic, you will be able to use pivot tables and Excel tables too. Query large amounts of data in many user-friendly ways. Subtotal and aggregate numeric data, summarize data by categories and subcategories, and create custom calculations and formulas. Expand and collapse levels of data to focus your results, and drill down to details from the summary data for areas of interest to you. Move rows to columns or columns to rows, or pivoting, to see different summaries of the source data. Filter, sort, group, and conditionally format the most useful and interesting subset of data, enabling you to focus on just the information you want. Present concise, attractive, and annotated online or printed reports. Pivot tables let you reorganize your data dynamically, but you're not limited to just changing its arrangement. You can also select the summary operation to be used within the pivot table itself. In this video, I will demonstrate how to make those changes. In this workbook, on Sheet 2, I have a pivot table that summarizes yearly revenue data for 3 different airline routes: Accra, Zanzibar, and Paris. The current summary operation that is used in the values area is sum, and you can see that Accra route revenue in 2020 accounted for almost Kenya shillings 250 million of revenue. Same thing a little bit higher in 2021, and similar values for Zanzibar and Paris. If I wanted to change the summary operation from sum to, for example, average, I could right-click any cell in the values area. And then in the shortcut menu that appears, point to Summarize Values By, and then click Another. Let's say that I'll do average. And here I have average values for each of these data points. So I can see that average monthly sales, which is the lowest level that I have in my dataset, for Accra route is 21,093,472 Kenyan shillings and 89 cents. We have a similar value for the year 2021, and you can see the monthly totals or monthly averages for the other routes for each year. In this case, the grand total also represents an average. So the average of 21,093,472 Kenyan shillings and 89 cents and 21,253,904 Kenyan shillings and 73 cents is the value you see in cell D5, and the grand total for each year represents the average of all revenue. So you can see that Paris route accounts for the vast majority of the sales, about 85 or 90%, but if you look at the average monthly revenue and include every airline route in it, you can see that the average per month is about 288,112,405 Kenyan shillings and 75 cents in 2020, and in 2021, the value is slightly higher. So that is how you can change the summary operation from sum to average. I'll go ahead and change it back. So I'll right-click any data cell, point to Summarize Values By, and go back to sum. You can also look for a percentage change within a particular row or a column. Again, I will right-click any cell in the values area, and I will click Value Field Settings. And then in the Value Field Settings dialog box, I will click the Show Values As tab, and then to select the calculation next to Show Values As, I will click its list boxes down arrow, and doing so displays a list of all of the calculations that I can perform. So I can have the percentage of the grand total, which would take the sum, in this case, of all sales across both years in all categories, and give me the percentage for each cell including total cells within my pivot table. You can also do percentage of column total, percentage of row total, and other changes that I won't get into here. Let's say that I want to summarize my data as percentage of column total. So I'll go ahead and click that and click OK. And I can see here that my earlier estimate appears to be correct. So I have Accra route revenue for 2020, accounting for 2.44% of all sales for that column. Zanzibar route revenue are up around 8.5%, and Paris route is right around 89, and we see similar values for 2021. And most importantly, if we look down in the grand total row, we'll see that each column, including the grand total, adds up to 100%. That means that the calculation is being performed accurately. If you need to make your pivot table fit within a small space, you can always get rid of grand totals if you're just interested in the individual values. So for example, if I click any cell in the body of the pivot table, then go up to Design, and then in the Layout group at the left end of the ribbon tab, I can turn off grand totals by clicking the grand totals button and then clicking off for rows and columns. And I'm down to just my individual values. You can also do the same thing for subtitles by clicking the Subtitles button and selecting the option you want, but in this case, I don't have any changes to make, so I'll just go back to the worksheet and continue with my analysis. You have learned that you can summarize a pivot table by placing a field in Sigma Values area in the PivotTable Fields Task pane. You have also learned that by default, Excel takes the summarization as some of the values of the field in Sigma Values area. However, you have other calculation types, such as count, average, max, min, etc. We hope this topic has given you more skills in handling pivot table and Excel table data. Thanks for watching.